place that is haunted. Right from the start, dear, built on an acre of sand.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zeta.
And I'm Kelly, and you're listening to Two Sides in the Truth.
We had a little break, y'all. We're back.
Hope you enjoyed yourself.
I know. We have a special guest on the second half of the episode today, so if y'all want to stay tuned and listen, we have someone pretty interesting that's going to join us, and I've kind of been begging them to join us for a few weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. But first, we're going to play a little catch-up because our last show was before July 4th.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of July 4th stuff to talk about. Not so exciting. I'll touch on it for a second in a minute. I'll let you go first because hopefully yours was better than mine. Was it better than
mine? Was really good, but same. I mean, it wasn't like
nothing exciting.
Nothing crazy, but
because you've settled down. All my rowdy friends have settled down. I went that Saturday to the lake with the kids, but the weather was kind of weird, so we didn't stay long. We didn't do much. It wasn't as fun as usual. I don't know how else to put that.
Aww.
The swimming was fun.
Yeah.
But we didn't dock the boat. We didn't make a camp. We didn't grill there. I mean, it was just a real simple trip, but it was beautiful.
That's good.
And then that was on the Saturday before July 4th. And then on July 4th, I spent the day with my dad, which was fun, at his house. And we went swimming and I grilled and hung out with my kids and my dad and was in bed before dark and did not see a single firework the entire weekend. As many shows.
Did you hear them?
Yes. Apparently, because Rick said I woke him up in the middle of the night on July 4th. And I was like, what was that? Did someone shoot a gun? And I vaguely remember it. And he was like, nope, it is July 4th.
It's just the 4th of July. Yeah. It sounds like a war zone, though. It is ridiculous.
I could have walked out my door and seen the entire Waxahachie fireworks show had I attempted to, but I did not feel like getting out of bed. No. So I just went to bed early. So that was yay, that was so exciting.
Mine was
same.
I mean, I went to our little get-together that they did in Frost with Dante's friends and stuff like that. And I don't know. He grew up in Frost. I didn't. So I don't know people. I knew one person at this party. I mean, I have met people before, but I consider those acquaintances. I don't consider those friends or people that you know. I don't talk to these people or hang out with these people. So I didn't really know anybody. I had been introduced to a couple of people that I kind of recognize, but you know me, I have amnesia. I'm going to forget you. Unless you're like a constant in my life, I'm not going to remember your name and I'm vaguely going to remember your face. So it's going to be like, I had to be reintroduced to most of the people I was introduced to because I didn't go last year. So it was the year before. So I'm really not remembering any of these people. I knew one lady because she's an older lady that goes to our church. And so I was like, I have one friend. So I sat by her and talked to her. But it was. I still like to go because I like to be there for him when I can. I know it's important to him because they're his friends and people that he's known for forever. So I make an effort.
And he always shows up when you want him there.
He does. So, but we work so well together because neither of us like social settings. We like to go for a little while. We'll go for the food and then we leave. And so I love that about him, that he's not trying to hang out and hang around for forever. So we didn't even go until like almost dark, and so we could like get the tail end of eating and then see the fireworks and then be out of there. So it was perfect. Yeah. It was really great. But then, of course, it was so freaking loud because we're at a place where, you know, we're out of the city limits, so you can do fireworks. So, of course, we have everybody around us popping fireworks all night long. So I had to sleep with because I always sleep with earplugs in, but I also have noise canceling headphones like for the shooting range. Yeah. So I had my earplugs in, and then I had the headphones over, over that.
No, I didn't only woke up that one time, and I went to bed. I got in bed and was asleep by like 7:30.
Nice.
I wore me out. The lake on Saturday and then Sunday. It's so hot here right now. And then Sunday at the lake. Is. And I grilled for my dad and them. So I was the one in charge of the grill, which is hot.
Mm-hmm. I would not be happy with that situation.
I would just run and jump in the pool like I'd flip a few things and then I'd run and jump in the pool and then I'd come back and I'd flip a few things and I'd run. And I only did sausage and shrimp, which are really easy to grill. So I was making it fast, easy. But I always grill when I go to my dad's for my dad because, make it fun.
Yeah.
So that was it on that. Now, this weekend, I had a change of plans. Good weekend. a girls' weekend. My first one without you. It was weird.
All right, I'm so sad.
I know. And it wasn't planned to be a girls' weekend. It was supposed to be a family reunion weekend, but I've been having health problems. And my family reunion is an outdoor event where you were in 100-degree Texas heat for 2-3 days. And I just didn't think that would wipe me out. I wouldn't be able to work this week. Like I was like, I won't make it to work on Monday.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been smart.
Like I could have handled being there, but I wouldn't have been able to handle going to work Monday. So, and it's an hour and a half past the cabin. So it's a drive. It's, that cabin is 3 hours away. It's 4.5 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
So originally what I was going to do is I was going to go, but I was going to leave like halfway through the reunion and go to the cabin because Erica she rented the cabin. Like Erica planned the weekend. It had nothing to do with me. And she was doing a songwriting weekend.
Yeah.
And so she was like, she did invite me. And, but she goes, I don't want a lot of people there, but, I want you to come because I've been wanting you to help me do a song. I feel like you could, they did another girls' weekend, not a girls' weekend. They did another songwriting weekend where it was just her and Darla. And they did not write a single thing.
Yeah.
They were not inspired.
They didn't have our stimulus.
That's what they said. So they were like, if you could just come tell us some stories, we can write some songs about them. I was like,
exactly,
perfect,
yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, I will try, but I don't think I'm going to make it. And she was not happy with that. She was like, well, just try Saturday night. Just come Saturday night. Just come stay the night. Leave there and come stay the night here. Mm-hmm. The problem is we drink a lot at my reunion, so I can't just like leave and go stay the night. Like I'm not going to drive, So I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it, Eric. I'm just going to be honest. But then I ended up not going to my reunion. One thing after another kind of happened, and it was not, I just knew it was going to wipe me out.
Yeah.
And so that's when I ended up going on a last minute decision and going to the cabin. So I go to the cabin with them and had a wonderful weekend. It was different than any other girls' weekend we've had. Kind of like the last one was different, but a polar opposite different. The last one was real calm and, we had all the quiet girls. Mm-hmm. We had all the loud bitches at this one. I mean, every girl there is loud.
So who all ended up going out?
It was Darla and Erica. And then Erica invited her friend Courtney, whom I have only met one other time, but they've been friends like 20 years. And Courtney's a comedian.
Oh, cool.
Like a legit comedian. So I was like, you need to come on the show. Because, I laughed so hard. I threw up a little. I wasn't drunk either. This is like, I'm sober. And I didn't even drink the first night, which the girls' weekend, you start drinking the moment you get there and you pretty much drink the whole weekend. Like breakfast, you're having something in your drink. It's the most drinking I do year round. Mm-hmm. And I did not drink the first night purposely. I chose not to because I just didn't want to be miserable the next day and I'm getting old, So I wasn't drunk because I wasn't even drinking. This is Friday night. She shows up. She gets there after everybody else. She's the last person there. Oh, and Shelby was there. And she just immediately starts talking and everything out of her mouth is so funny and she is so engaging. And I'm just like, I see why you brought her. Yeah. And Erica said I invited her because she's like, y'all are storytellers and I can see stories in my head when you talk and I can write a song about the story. So that's why she wanted the two of us to go there. And then she wanted Shelby to go because Shelby hadn't been in 2 years. So she was like, this is the one you should come on because it's not a lot of people, So Shelby came, which Shelby was so funny. Like she was on top of her game.
She's one of my favorites.
So we get there the first night and we're going to try to write a song, but it didn't happen. And it just, they did sing and it was amazing. And, we just chilled. I got there before dark.
That's the best.
That never happens. It was nice. But then we were like, it was all last minute on Friday. So next thing you know, I'm in San Saba. Like nothing I had planned correctly for. Which made it kind of cooler when you have like a sudden fun time you didn't know it was coming. I expected a fun time, just a different fun time.
Yeah.
So then we wake up. I went to bed at I did not stay up late. I'm always the first one in bed, and I did not disappoint on this trip. But I told the girls I will be up early cooking breakfast, and y'all can stay up as late as you want to. Just understand, I'm gonna get up, okay? And because that's how it works. I can't sleep in. No. I'll be quiet. I'll tiptoe. But I might get hungry. I'm frying some bacon too.
You're going to start smelling that bacon and coffee and you're going to
I usually wait till the first person looks awake. That's what wakes me up. And then when somebody else starts moving around, then I'll get up and start doing stuff for people. Otherwise, I usually go sit on the porch and have some coffee and chill out, whatever. So that's what I did. I get up the next morning. They had a good time. They sang a few more songs, is my understanding, after I went to bed. I could hear them laughing, but that was it. And we get up the next morning, And Darla, it was having problems with her ankle before she got there. And she was like, I cannot get in and out of the river. There's absolutely no way I can get up and down that hill.
Oh yeah, it's brutal.
And so she was like, so we were gonna go get in the water, and she was like, I'm gonna stay up at the cabin, and we don't want to leave someone behind.
No.
You know, you don't leave your bitches behind. So I said, well, I know another place, because my whole family is at the reunion, and normally I do have other places, but they belong to my family, and I'm not going to go on their property without permission.
Yeah.
And it looks a little insulting if I like stood them up at the reunion and then I'm like, hey, can I go to your house and swim? So I'm not going to do that. So instead I was like, I know a place I used to go to when I was a kid, and I did take my kids there. I don't know if you were there this time or not. Have you ever gone with my kids to the cabin?
Mm-mm.
Okay, then no, because it was my kids. It was Zane and Maddie.
Oh wait, did they go when we went with?
Kind of feel like no, they didn't. It was a different weekend. It's coming.
Yeah, I don't think that I've ever been there with them.
It was the other boys. It was my bonus boys there. So there's this place that when I was growing up, we called the Slabs, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. And you have to go down. You go down this road, and then you take a right at the dead end of the road, and there is a dirt road. And you go down this dirt road, and there used to be a little area of water you drive over they called the Slabs because it was just limestone you were driving over, and there was no actual bridge, and you had to drive through the water.
I remember doing
Well,
that.
that was dark. That we did do that at a different location.
Okay, I see. There's so many locations.
Yeah, we did that at Bonnie's house to get to the natural
Oh yeah,
spring.
that was it.
Yeah, so that's what it used to be like. But I don't know. 20 years ago, they built a bridge there. I don't know if a situation happened or what happened, but they built a little concrete bridge right over that. So it's a dirt road with a concrete bridge. You know, so we go down there, and the girls are all in, and they're like, why have we never been here? Why have you never taken us here before? I was like, I don't know, because we have a river in the backyard. But this is a natural spring river. It's on the San Saba River, so it's actually clearer. It looks more like it does at Bonnie's house.
Yeah.
So they were like, this is now a new go-to.
Yeah, you've been holding out.
Yeah, I was, what is it called when you keep something to yourself?
Gatekeeping.
I was gatekeeping the Slabs.
You sure were.
Yeah. And so they were like, this is amazing. So we get there, we get in the water. Darla's able to get in the water. Everybody's able to get in the water. And there's graffiti on the side of the bridge, just a few things, like 4 things, you know. But one of them says, let me see, because I have a sticker that says it, because one of the girls literally had a sticker making machine at the cabin.
How random.
I know. And it says, yo, mom is a hoe and I heart dad bods. And it was on the side of the bridge. So Courtney's like, I need a picture in front of that. So she gets up there, and we're sitting in the water, and we take the picture, and we're just laughing hysterically. But as she's taking the picture, there's this one truck that keeps driving by, but we're in the middle of nowhere. So anyone on that road lives on that road, and it's a few ranches. It's basically access to ranches. Mm-hmm. We have family at the end of the road, and we used to have a family reunion there, and I grew up going to this location. So I know we're fine. We can't go on people's properties on the side. We can be in the water.
Yeah.
And we're not roaming. We're staying right there.
Yeah.
So this truck went back and forth a few times. Finally, they stop at the bridge, and she's laying on the bridge, but very safe. Like, she's not going to fall. It's a real thick area to lay on. She's not like, balancing. And they won't go. And she's sitting there in a bathing suit, like posing, and they won't go. And they're just like watching her. And so she starts doing like a Jane Fonda exercise, and she's got her leg going. And she's doing she's working out in her bathing suit with a beer in her hand on the side of this bridge. And in front of the I love your mom's a hoe and I love hot dad bods.
That's great.
Well, Erica couldn't see very well, and she thought it said I love hot dogs. And we didn't correct her. So she posted.
I like hot dogs too.
She goes, that's so random. Yeah, it is. It's a little random, huh? But they really like hot dogs. And so then she posts the picture.
Bless her heart.
And she put that whenever your mom's a hoe and you love hot dogs. And everyone's like, that says dads. That clearly says dads. She was like, so she changed it to dads, and we were all laughing, and she was like, nah, dogs is better. She changed it back. I was like, you're so ridiculous. Anyway, so we had a great time there. I will say, this is just probably TMI, and I'm not going to name names. And it was not me, but it could have been. Uh-huh. One of the girls started their period. Well, 2 of the girls started their period on their way to the damn thing. Fuck menopause. And,
It's the worst.
and again, not the weekend it was supposed to happen. Both were like, I prayed all week this wouldn't happen.
I think that there's some kind of voodoo that goes around the cabin that if you get anywhere close to it, it just sucks you in.
Yes. So this person is standing there and we're in the water, but we're downstream. She's downstream of me slightly and no one's behind her. And she's standing up, moving her chair. She has a chair and she's moving her chair and she's doing something. And blood starts there's blood everywhere.
She got attacked by Mother Nature.
I go, and I'm like, oh my God, you're bleeding everywhere. Stay downstream.
That's your spot now.
She was like, should I go like to the car and like change, she had just gotten in the water. I said, no, bitch, just sit down in that water right there. It's perfect. This is God's way of handling this. Just sit right there, but stay downstream of me. I don't want to sit in your world. That was how that went.
Oh my God.
We were laughing. We were
What are you supposed to do?
I feel like when you're to the point in your friendship that you can tell somebody that and they laugh and don't even get embarrassed because, a 13-year-old girl would literally remove her own head at that moment.
You would just die. You just die.
Yeah. Whereas we were all laughing hysterically at her and with her because it could have been us. So that was one of the little adventures. Anyways, after our adventure and we leave there, which we had a great time. We were there like 4 hours. We leave there, we go back to the cabin and we, obviously have an amazing dinner as usual and everyone that went are the eaters. Like we have some friends that don't eat and we have some friends that like me and like Kelly and like Erica that love food and love to cook and so we were eating well. So we, went back, had dinner and my sister-in-law joined us at that point. Well, she was there Saturday. And it's time to start working on this song. Well, the whole weekend, I'm not going to name names, but one of the people in the group was talking about a situation she was having with her significant other. And in that situation, the significant other had made some poor decisions that involved another person.
Oh, it sucks.
And so we wrote a song about it. And we're going to have to change some of the lyrics. Because it was the meanest damn song.
I don't think you have to change
First off,
the lyrics.
The chorus is Jackie. The name of the song is Jackie is a whore.
I love it already.
The chorus is about Jackie being a whore. One of the lines that we're going to have to remove because it is obviously not going to fly was it 2 fingers? Was it 3 fingers? Maybe 4. So you can do the math. How pissed off this person is that's writing.
Hey, but it
this
rhymes
song.
well though.
It was the whole.
That's
song,
poetic beauty.
The song is so funny. It is. It sounds like if you listen to country, it sounds like Pistol Annies or Dixie Chicks, like campy when they're campy. Like sometimes they're not campy, but when they're like ready to like kill Earl. This is definitely an Earl song.
I love it.
It could have been on the same album and so beautifully sang by them. So the part that I got to have, I've never written a song. It's on my bucket list. I was really happy that I got to do this, and now I just want to write songs all day. Like I was like, and I was not the good one. Like I brought very little to the table.
It don't matter.
I was like, wait, put this in there. But they did. They put them in there.
I love it.
A lot of it was me, so I was happy with that.
I'm so proud.
But to watch both of them work and to watch their minds work and what they were doing was so like it just like popped my creative. It made me I just went creative.
That's so cool.
It was really neat to do and participate in. And the song is really cool, and they're gonna record the song, and
I can't wait.
It will come out, and it is really, really funny, and it's not all mean. But Shelby is laying on the couch in the cabin, and it's 2 a.m. I stayed up till 3 a.m, Kelly.
What?
This does not happen.
Oh my goodness.
I wasn't even tired because I was having so much fun. And so it's like 2, 3 a.m, and Courtney's gone to bed because Courtney at this point has a migraine. And so it's just us 3 basically up at this point. And I mean, everybody else is up till like midnight, but 3 is a long time. And Shelby's laying on the couch, and we hadn't heard a peep from her in an hour. And she's laying on the couch with her back to us because that's where her bed is for the weekend. And we're like just doing the song, and suddenly her hand pops. She doesn't even get up. Her hand pops up like, I have an idea. It reminded me of what's that movie, Moulin Rouge, where the guy that I have an idea. Anyways, I have an idea. The cover needs to be that picture of Your Mom's a Hoe and I Love Hot Bods because it's such a white trash song. And so we were all laughing. And one of the lines in the chorus is has the word fugly in it, which is from the movie Mean Girls.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I'm like, we do need to use that picture, but we need to put it in a burn book on the cover, like it's been taped in the burn book.
Yeah.
And we wrote fugly or something like that. So it is campy. It is not meant to be as mean as it sounds. But, once you start writing it,
you just go.
You just go.
Yeah.
You just go. I will say everything in the song either happened or the woman that's, person straight in their lives, significant other, or it's something that happened.
Yeah.
She's laying out facts.
Yeah.
And they're a little crazy, so it's crazy and very entertaining. And I was really like, it was wonderful. I got to do all this creative shit, so I was real excited. So at the end of the night, Bonnie's boyfriend, now my sister-in-law is a boyfriend now, and he does not come near us. It's totally girl weekend.
Yeah.
So he is fishing the whole time in the river behind us. You see him in the morning when he gets there with her, and you see him when he picks her up. Mm-hmm. Like he's gone the whole time. He doesn't even pop in. He popped in at the slabs just to see if we need anything, and then he left. He didn't get in the water. He didn't try to get in the water. Y'all need anything? I was like, okay, I like this guy.
I like him too.
He knows to check out. But he's coming. It's about 1 a.m, and he shows up, and at the the Saturday night, and I'm like, here, you want some food? You've been out there. I got lots of food. I feed him. So they're like, you want to hear the song? He was like, yeah. And so they play the song for him, and he's like, and he doesn't really talk much, and he's like, oh my God, this is a great song. I'm like, it is good, right? And he was like, I really like this song. It's so mean though. And we're like, we know. So then he says, the next day, Bonnie texts me and she goes, he cannot stop singing Jackie is a whore. He said, if that goes on the radio, people are going to sing it. I promise you.
Number one fan already.
Yeah. So y'all look in a few months. You'll be getting.
Stay tuned.
Jackie is a whore will be coming out. I will not be singing back up because I can't sing to save my life.
It's okay. Maybe you can be in the music video.
I mean, maybe. I keep
Maybe
saying.
you can star as Jackie.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You can do a cameo.
Yeah. I could play. Well, I think Courtney's going to play Jackie. We've decided because she's in the picture.
Yeah. Okay,
And
that's
she'd
true. That's a good one.
Yeah. So she's going to have to play Jackie. I ought to be somebody else. Maybe I'll be the woman scorned.
Maybe that's a good one.
Because I would fuck someone up. No. Anyway, so that was my weekend. It was
wow.
I had a great time. What did you do this weekend?
I went to Canton with my family. We went to the KOA out there and did some camping. Well, I can't say that it was camping because we stayed in their bed and breakfast.
Oh my God, you did not camp. That is not camping. We were camping too at the cabin then. We were all camping.
Because they have obviously spots that you can pull your trailer in. They have a couple of little mini cabins as well, and then they have one big bed and breakfast thing.
Yeah,
and that's of course where we stayed because we had our whole family.
Yeah.
So
because I didn't know you were doing this. Was this a last minute? We're gonna go camping?
No,
thing?
It's been planned. But you know me,
you wouldn't confirm you were going.
No, not until the last minute. Until I realized I had my own room and bathroom. Then I was like, okay, I'll go. I was with all my brothers, man. Okay, I have to have my home room, and of course, my little brother, which is I'm his favorite person. Oh my gosh, he loves me.
Is this the new little brother?
No, we've had him for since he was 3, and he's 11 now.
Oh, okay,
or something like that. And so, but I'm his favorite person, so he of course wants to stay in the room with me. There's a queen bed in the room, but he knows that I'm not going to let him sleep in the bed. But they have cots. They had 2 different cots. So he wanted to, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And so I can't tell him no. So I'm like, of course, I finally get my own room and bathroom, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, fine. But he only stayed in there one night with me. The first night he stayed.
So
in
you're
there
saying the baby replaced the baby?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you got
so, but I mean, I couldn't say no to him. So, but the second night, I don't know if my mom told him or if he just wanted to go in the room with my older brothers, but he was like he moved his cot out there, and I'm like laying in the bed, and he's like little. Okay, he hasn't hit a growth spurt yet, so he's very. I used to call him a chicken nugget, and he's gotten a little bit taller, so now he wants to be able to be a chicken strip now.
I was about to say, now a chicken strip.
But I was like, no, you still aren't there yet.
Not yet.
So he was like trying to get the cot back up and together, and he's like not doing a very good job because like it just folds up like accordion style. And then my other brother walks in there, and he's like looking at him, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm moving the cot in there with y'all." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he looks at me, and I'm just watching him struggle. I was like, "And me, I'm just sitting here watching it." He was like, "Yeah, you weren't gonna help him?" I was like, "No, you can help him."
I'm the big sister now. This is your job.
But it was fun. I mean, it's a cute little area because they do weddings and stuff out there too. So they have part of it really. Yes, they have a pool. That's where I spent 90% of my time until I went to the pool early in the morning, and then when it was really hot in the middle of the day, I came back and took a nap and listened to my book, and then I would go out there in the evening time. But there was one time, the first night, I went back out there with my brother because he was like, because the pool didn't close until 10. And so he and my mom was letting them stay up, obviously, because it's, on vacation. So he's like, "Oh, can we go back to the pool? Can we go back to the pool?" So I was like, "Yeah." So me and him and my other brother, Gage, which is the newest one, went back to the pool, and we were out there. And there was a couple other teenage boys out there. So he was like playing Marco Polo with the other teenage boys out there. And me and my little brother, we're just swimming laps back and forth. Yeah. Okay. Well, this guy comes up, and he like comes up to the fence. He doesn't come inside. He just comes up to the fence, and he's like leaning up against the fence. He's like this Mexican dude in his like probably 40s or something like that. And he's just like standing there, leaning against the fence, looking in at us. Okay. That's it. Okay. And awesome. Obviously all the kids that are there are not Mexican. And I'm not saying you have to be Mexican to have Mexican kids, but just obviously none of the kids know him. Like it doesn't belong to any of the kids. And so my little brother, he's like looking over there, and then he's like, that guy, you see that guy? I was like, yeah, I know. I saw him. And he's like, he's kind of creeping me out. And I was like, you don't have to whisper that. I was like, he is kind of creeping. He's obviously that's kind of creepy. Like, you know, and I'm saying this loud enough that because he's like we're at the end, and he's like right at the fence across from us. So I'm letting him know, that is kind of creepy. I don't know why you would just stand, it's not like people can't come in and enjoy the pool area if that's what you're wanting to do. But if you're wanting to stand and watch the kid, I was the oldest one there. Everybody else there was young teens. Yeah. Okay. I was the oldest one that was there. So I was like, that's a little weird that you're just going to come and watch kids in a pool that none of them are yours. Yeah. Okay. So he hears me say that to my little brother, because I'm like, and he's like, well, what are we going to do? I was like, well, if he's still there when we're ready to leave, I'll call Dad and have him come down here. And so we won't have to walk by ourselves, because it's not that far. And so he's like, okay. And I say that loud enough that the guy hears me say that. Like, this creep. No, he still stands there for a while. They're still playing Marco Polo. Marco Polo, obviously, you're like yelling a little bit because it's Marco Polo, Marco Polo. They're not being loud, but they're yelling Marco Polo. So then he says, hey, if y'all are going to be in here, y'all need to keep it down.
Oh, he's a Karen. He's a Karen.
Being too loud.
He went from a
so I don't know if he was trying to act like he worked there and like, hey, y'all are still in the pool and it's almost closing time, so y'all need to keep it down. I don't know what he was trying to do, but he was just trying to deflect from being a creeper standing there, like he was actually going to say something. So we're like, okay, whatever. And then he finally walks off, and then it's like.
And then you yelled Marco real loud.
And then I looked at the kids. I was like, y'all are fine. Because they were like stopped playing for a while. I was like, y'all can still play. Just because one person tells you that some creepy guy tells you, unless the pool people come up and they identify themselves as, we work here and we're going to need, then you're not doing anything wrong.
That's what I would have said. I would have been like, do you work here? No. Is the pool open until 10? Okay, come back at 10 and shut the fuck up.
Right? Exactly. Well, I know. I get it. I get it. I know. But yeah. But other than that, it was a really fun time. And they had this like human-sized foosball. So we're like, you like standing there with all your people. And so you're the people. And that was a lot of fun.
That sounds fun.
It was crazy, but it was a lot of fun.
That's fun.
And they had a lot of different amenities though. And I don't want to bash the place, but like none of them were accessible at the time, because like they have like, you can rent bikes and go on the trails. But they went to try to do that, and they went out, and all the bikes were like flat.
Oh.
And so my mom was like, okay. So then they went to rent the paddle boards. They go down to the paddle boards, and neither of the paddle board things they're
good
broken.
shape.
So they come back, and they have an escape room there too. The first night we noticed that, and they're like, oh, but we're walking past it, and my sister says, man, escape rooms, that's the thing, is like you get a person in there that's like not good with those, and they're gonna end up just busting out. Well, the next day we come down, and the front door of that is shattered because it was a glass front door.
Someone
And it's
busted
all
out.
shattered. And and Ethan, which is her son, was like, Mom, look, someone did bust out. And so they couldn't do the escape room
Right.
because the door shattered. And I was like, man, this is not the best weekend to be coming here because there's
Right.
really nothing to do other than fish in
So
the lake.
basically, don't go. No.
Yeah, it was a really cool place, but it needs a little work.
We need a little love
a
going
little
on.
bit of love there.
Yeah, it happens.
But it was still a nice little getaway. Now the family vacation was continued. I came back. They left there on Tuesday, and then they went to San Antonio, and they went to SeaWorld today, and they're not coming back till tomorrow. But I didn't want to go to SeaWorld for one.
Can you imagine how
It's
hot it would be there right now?
Exactly. I'm like, I don't want to go walk around SeaWorld. I've been to SeaWorld. I've seen everything. I've been to SeaWorld with a family too. And I'm like, it's just not something I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm not one for crowds anyways. So
Yeah, it's hot, and you're gonna be waiting in line in the heat.
yeah. So I still took the time off, but I just came home and had
Oh.
this time to myself.
Well, that's nice. All right, well, that's good. Well, it sounds like you had a good weekend.
Yeah. I had
That's it.
another really long week because it was the same as last week. Last week I had Monday and Tuesday off for the 4th, and then I'm off on Wednesdays, so it was nice. And this week it's the same week. I had a nice 5-day weekend. And it was
I'm jealous.
pretty nice.
Yeah, that's not bad. Well,
I enjoyed it.
Are we caught? What else?
That's
We got
right.
anything else
I'm
going
pretty
on?
caught up.
I know. Feels like forever since I've seen you. So we are gonna. I'm trying to put together a mini girls weekend this weekend, which depending on if people can go with me. I only invited 3 people because it's a cleaning weekend.
Yeah.
Not just cleaning. We'll have fun too. But I have someone coming to stay at the cabin in a few weeks, and I just want to make sure that it's
Ready
up
to
to
go.
par. And I can't make it back before then, so I need to just do that now. So Amazon Prime Day was yesterday, and I bought all this shit for the cabin.
Ooh.
I bought new shower curtains, new sheets, just a bunch of stuff. And so today all the packages arrived, and Rick's like, "What all did you buy?"
What did you do?
And now I have my own. We don't spend each other's money. Like we share a few bills, whatever but then the rest, I don't ask him about his money. He didn't ask me about mine. And he was like, "What did you buy?" I was like, "It's all for the cabin." He was like, "You bought all that for the cabin?" I was like, Yep. We needed some updates. So that's what I did. So we got a few things on Amazon Prime for that. So I want to go and get that done. There's really not a ton to do at the cabin. It's actually I was real happy when I showed up. the other
Yeah,
day.
it's in good shape.
Yeah, it's in pretty good shape. So, just touch ups, like putting the new shower curtains up and, whatever. And I brought all the bedding home and I washed all the bedding and I ordered some more bedding for it so that I could go back and I could have a second set of bedding type thing. Because it's normally me and my friends. So I don't care if I sleep on the same bed I slept on last time I was there.
Mm-hmm.
But I do normally bring them back, at least every other time, if not every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that works out if y'all can join me.
All right.
So I bet you do.
I bet I do too. Well, did you decide that it was going to be this
It's gotta
weekend
be
though?
this
Because
weekend.
that's what I was waiting
It is
on.
gonna be
because
this
I can't
weekend.
next weekend.
It's going to be this. It has to be this weekend because Melindy's birthday is next week, the weekend after that, and I forgot about that. And there is no way you're getting Brandy to come to the cabin when it's her best friend's birthday.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't ask her to. So, and I'm possibly going to Melindy's birthday too if it works out.
That's cool.
So it's a Dolly Parton themed birthday.
What?
Everybody's supposed to dress like a different version of
Am I invited?
Dolly. Yes, obviously. And it's
Nobody has my number to
and
invite me though.
I know. And it's an 80s theme. But I think you went there already. That 80s themes place in Fort Worth.
Yeah,
That's where it is.
that's so much fun.
Yeah, I think that's where it is. Last I checked, it was there. So once I realized that was the weekend for that, I was like, I can't do that. That's not cool.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to be this weekend, but it's just going to be Saturday and like early morning Saturday. But I just,
Okay, cool.
when I go Friday night, I just go right to bed when I get there.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, I'll just do this. And it can be a real light weekend. Like I got a bunch of shit already there. So we don't need to bring a bunch of food or bunch of,
We can just head out.
then we can just head out.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
I don't know that Erica's going to make it. That's the one that couldn't make it this weekend if we
Yeah.
did it. She might be able to, but she had in her head it was the next weekend and in her husband's and in her kid's head. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so I have a guest this week, and I don't know really how to introduce him other than to say that his name is Ron. I know your name. He gave me his ID. I don't have my
Here I
glasses
am.
on, so I can't even read. But now,
That's
now when I look,
that's a pre-mustache
oh,
photograph.
Yeah.
I want to see.
Yeah, you don't look the same at all.
Let me see.
Yeah,
You have a wonderful mustache, by the way.
Thank you. I think I made it myself.
I am
I
definitely.
made it myself,
I'm a mustache girl for sure, and
and yours is on top of it.
love it.
Yeah, so I met Ron here. Oh my God, he brought mustaches. That's so funny. You just keep those in your pocket? How are you that
You
prepared?
just have mustaches with you.
I'm using the one.
Oh, shut up.
It's a 4-pack and one's gone, so of course.
So I met Ron here one time. I was, I think, about to record, and he was listening to us talk and laugh because I was talking to Tess and them, waiting to come over here.
Yeah.
And tell me if I'm missing a beat here.
You're doing
And so we were like, back. I think we kind of apologized because we were being so loud and obnoxious, and there's probably cuss words involved. And
I just said I was very entertained.
yeah, he said, no, I'm loving it. This is great. So we talked to him for a second and, told him about the podcast, whatever. And then, we were talking about it, and he had some interesting things to say. And I was like, you would be a good guest on the podcast. And so, there's few things he could discuss, but I found the most interesting to be the fact that he had recently left a religion. And it's a religion that a lot of people find very interesting and different. And it's not what you always hear in Texas. Not here to knock religions, but this one's a little different. And so I was like, I want you to tell us about leaving that religion and what's happened. So I'm going to let you just go with it. And Kelly's got
All right.
questions for you, but I'm thinking after it. Or
Yeah,
you wanna
we can just
beforehand?
go. Well, I was curious because I didn't know how y'all had met each other, so that's cool that y'all just ran into him and like how he started listening to the podcast. And then you told me that he was the one who wrote us that email.
Yes.
So that is so cool. I didn't know that this was
Yeah.
that's who we were having
I
on
told
today.
Kelly nothing.
No,
like,
I
have
was
a
totally
guest.
in the dark.
I have a guest. He'll be here at 4:15.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm Ron. I am originally from Ogden, Utah, and that puts you right in the middle of Mormon country.
Yes,
And
it does.
I was born that way.
Wow.
And so, what a lot of people don't realize is that the Mormon Church, early in its history, broke and splintered into a few different directions. And so, the main big one is the one that I was raised in.
What do they call the main big one? LDS?
I think they keep rebranding, and I'm not sure if they call themselves Mormons right now or not. But
Okay.
they're essentially, from the outside to look in at the structure of that organization, they're essentially a land development firm.
Okay, yeah.
That's it.
Interesting.
with
Not where I expected you to go with that.
With religion attached. So,
yeah.
some people think that it is a cult, and I would stop just shy of that.
Okay.
Because I think I could point at others and say that's a little more culty or this is less culty.
Yeah.
But I could say that some of the strategies that they use to keep you in
Yes.
are cult-y.
Yes.
And so strong that I used an attorney to leave the church.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had to do that.
Well, it's the cleanest way to do it.
Huh. And why do you have to have an attorney? Like, what is it about it that, like, is it to get your name off the books, or don't they have like a books or something like that?
Get your name off the books, and then also to make sure nobody bothers you afterward.
Okay. All right. So that's a little Scientology.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. It's got little pieces of that. So what made you decide to leave? What was the deciding factor in that?
It was quite a few things with the culture and the way that the leadership conducts itself. But the straw that broke the camel's back was their involvement in California politics. So in 2008, there was a Proposition 8, and I was told as a member that I was supposed to phone bank and get Californians to vote one way or another on this thing. And I said, you know what? That's not what religion should be doing.
Right. Yeah. That is not what I expected you to say either.
Yeah.
But
Full of surprises.
eye-opening to you. Eye-opening to you. Well, I have a friend that left their religion and that they were obviously born into, but their dad was a preacher in the religion. And, just they grew up and they had been told so many things, and they went out in the world and realized so much of it wasn't what they were told, that they started having to do some major soul searching, and it changed their entire lives. And definitely not every religion is that way, and I don't knock religions, because I understand some people are there because literally you don't know anything different. Like that is, you're born into that situation. But I do find it very interesting when somebody is open-minded enough to question things. I feel like all religions should be questioned.
Yes.
And I question all religions openly.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Not
thing.
everyone's a fan of that.
No.
No.
Not everybody is. I mean, some people, they feel so strongly about their religion, and they'll just like to the grave, like you can't say anything about it. And I'm like, you should want to, though. You should want to learn as much as you can, and you should want to ask questions, and you should, like, why would you just completely devote everything in your life? Like, okay, sure, I don't care. I'm just going to take whatever you spoon feed me. Like, no.
Right.
You shouldn't do that. Even if it's something that you do love and you are behind it, you should still want to figure out everything that you can about it. Why would you not want to?
And my friend that left their religion decided that what they would do is, before they left it, they hadn't decided to leave it. They decided they were ignorant and sheltered and uneducated on other religions and on their own religion. They only knew what they were told, and they didn't know what was said about them.
Right.
And they didn't know why, when things were negative, why they were negative, because they were taught, everyone's lying or whatever. So she started researching all religions. And after so much research, she was like, okay, so my religion's like the newest religion. It's like brand spanking. It's like the newborn infant of religions. And mine's the right one. Like, why are these people with like 3,000-year-old religions? How come they're not the right ones if they were there during the important things that happened in my religion? Mm-hmm. And by the time it was over, she changed faiths completely. Now, she did stay, religious, I guess, but in a completely different way. Mm-hmm. And she treats it totally different. It no longer consumes her life. It is a benefit in her life, but it is not her entirety of her personality. Mm-hmm. And it's made her a more likable person, quite honestly.
I like what you said there. I want to build on that. The balance between those two things is off, at least in the religion I was born into. And I agree. You gotta know what's going on with the history of it. You got to know what is expected of you once you go through certain doors or rites of passage. Shockingly, in the mainline Mormon Church, one of the other big issues I have, and the reason I'm really reluctant to have my children involved with it in any way, is that the bishop, he's the guy that's in charge of the local ward, which is your main congregation
community
unit.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Starting at age 12, you're expected to go into closed-door meetings with this guy, and he's going to ask you about your conduct.
I've heard this before.
Yes.
I actually have researched the Mormon Church. I find it very interesting.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I've got a lot of books if you want to borrow some of the historical stuff.
It's pretty interesting. There's a lot of stuff. And I used to work with someone that was very Mormon, and she would say a lot of things that I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, it didn't make any sense to me. So I'd go look it up. I wanted to know what she was talking about. And then I'm thinking, this is this person I work with all day, every day. And their world is so different than mine. Like, she had special garments she had to wear under her clothes. And, our policy was you had to work every Sunday. You had to work Sundays if you were in management. Like, you had to work Sundays. Otherwise, it made the other managers have to work every single Sunday. So you had to rotate them. She flat out would not work a Sunday. She's going to call in. She was going to do whatever. She was not working a Sunday. And her and I would go round and round. I was like, that's cool. I understand if you don't want to work a Sunday. Understand you're in the wrong fucking career. And your religion is not my religion. So I don't give a fuck if you get to heaven. Like, I'm sorry, but you not come to church. If that's keeping you coming to work, if that's keeping you from getting to heaven, but you're sending me there and I'm away from my kids, that doesn't seem Christian-like. Doesn't seem fair.
It's all the other straws that were on my back were thousands of little things like that.
Yeah.
That just didn't make sense. And had a big break from it, went and called myself an atheist for a while and agnostic, and then now Zen Buddhist is
Okay.
probably the closest you can get.
That is where my friend ended up.
Yeah,
Also, that's
that works
funny.
for me.
Wow.
The other thing I wanted to talk about, just related to that, is that I'm a person who is neurodivergent. I have a diagnosed disorder, and it's something that picks up not criticism, but it's something I get
Slack.
not slack, the opposite, discriminated against for sometimes, and
In your religion or in
well,
General.
it's starting from my childhood. So OCD as a child, but I didn't know I had it until really recently.
okay.
And so if you have a person with obsessive compulsive disorder who is also being given this big list of rules and expectations that they need to obsessively follow, that's not going to be a really healthy
Mental
childhood.
thing, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, my wife makes these things. I wanted to bring you these little prizes for show and tell. These are little skulls,
Oh my gosh.
and they are made of epoxy resin that
Oh, they're so cute.
she's been working in that medium for a while now.
Wow.
And I like skulls. I think skulls are cool because they are a reminder to look past the surface.
Yeah. Because we all
And-
look like this on the other side.
Yeah, we all got one of those. But then also you go one more layer deeper, and you've got this really cool thing called the brain, and those can be just breathtakingly, beautifully different
Yeah.
from person to person.
I have two kids
I
that
love that.
are neurodivergent, and it is eye opening. And I can't imagine putting any additional stress on them like that. But I find that, like you were saying about as far as like, it was difficult for you.
Mhm.
Scientology doesn't believe in therapy, and they don't believe in any mental health help in general.
Yep.
And that was kind of one of the things that caught me about them, because what do you do if your kid is born autistic or, with some kind of issue like that, you
Yeah.
know, and there's no help for them.
Yeah, and they're cutting you off from, or at least telling you should be cut off from an entire area of medicine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's just insane.
Yeah.
And I didn't always understand that till I had kids like this. Like, I used to think you could spank it out of kids. Not autism. I didn't even know autism existed until right before I had my kids. It wasn't no one really talked about it. But, then I had it and I was like, oh, I was dumb and wrong. And I'm going to eat crow now. I was mistaken. Because there was a family member of my husband's that had autism as a child, and I just thought she needed a spanking. And now I realize I needed a spanking. It was me. Wasn't her fault, But she couldn't get help back then, and it had nothing to do with religion. It's just in the early 90s, nobody knew what it was. And, you hear people now that say, these kids don't have ADHD and OCD and autism. They just need a spanking. We didn't have those kids when I was in school. You didn't see those kids when I was in school. And you're right. They were in state homes.
That's right.
You're right. They shipped them off.
Yes.
You're right. You did not see them.
Yep.
Or if they were lucky enough not to get shipped off, they had one classroom that all of them were in. So you had a kid that couldn't talk, might be in a wheelchair and be like, maybe a kid that is brain damaged and is literally slobbering and in a diaper. And then you have another kid who is high functioning and normal, just has a little touch of autism in the same class with a kid that is functioning like a 6-month-old. And so that's really doing a disservice to the kid that's functioning better. And it's doing a disservice to that kid too, because they're not getting the attention they need. And so when I see and I hear that, the religion thing reminded me of that, because I always just think, yeah, they were there. They were hiding them. The Kennedys, they had one of their own children and had a lobotomy put on her.
Wow.
And you never saw her again. John Kennedy's sister. So JFK had an autistic sister that they did a lobotomy on and stuck her in a hospital and never showed her in public again.
Wow.
And really the only sign, and she was not low functioning autistic. She liked boys too much. So they gave her a lobotomy.
That's insane.
Isn't that insane?
That
Look
is
it up,
insane.
y'all. It's
And
absolutely, it's the truth.
We're giving y'all a bunch of research topics to go.
That's right.
We are.
We're bringing it right into education now. I am a teacher.
Yeah. And he's a
There's going to be a pop quiz.
Right? He's a teacher, but also, what is go into your profession now? Like what you're going back into?
I am jumping back into the planetarium industry.
Wow.
And I work at a high school planetarium nearby just once a month. But my wife and I also make planetarium content. And that still shows in planetariums around the world. It's about as famous as I need to be. You can walk into any planetarium in the world, say my name, they probably know who I am, and they probably have something I made.
Wow.
Which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
And we had a great trip to you think about Tennessee, and that little corner that's as far from Texas as you can get is where the planetarium conference was. And we just reconnected with a lot of people and had a great time. I wanted to touch on spiritual life in Texas, just to contrast that with what it's like in Utah. It's one of the things that I like the most about Texas is the spiritual life here. And the thing that is different in Utah is that there's this Mormon monoculture, is what I call it. Almost total control of your whole week if you're devout.
Yeah.
And so that means you're not going to like the Oddfellows Lodge, you're going to, some Wednesday meeting or whatever at the church.
Yeah.
I like civic life in Texas, and I like spiritual life in Texas.
Because it's a break between the two.
Yeah. Well, that too.
Yeah. It's important.
And it's not just totally dominated by one faith. There's a whole spectrum of different kinds of people to deal with.
Yeah. I made friends with a lady when I lived in Houston that had moved from Utah, and she was not Mormon. And she was very, I don't know, gutted. I don't know if that's the right word for it, about her childhood. Like she really had a horrible, horrible school experience in Utah. And it was because she was pretty much the only non-Mormon kid in the school. And she was in a very Mormon area, and her mom had inherited a home from a family member. And her mom was a single mom, didn't have a lot of money. So that's where they moved, like free home. Yeah. Move in there. And it wasn't much of a home, but it was free, and gave her a place to stay. So they moved there when she was like at elementary age. I don't know what age in elementary. I know she was in elementary. And they moved there, and she, had a good childhood at her previous school, no problems. And she got there, and immediately they knew she wasn't Mormon because they didn't know her. In those towns, everybody knows everybody, especially in the school at that point. And so once they realized for a fact she wasn't Mormon, that was it. She didn't have a single friend. Nobody would talk to her. She wasn't allowed to go. Like, she was never invited to a single birthday party. Yep. She never had a date in high school. She didn't have a friend group in high school. She was excommunicated. She was treated like she was just trash.
Just isolated.
Isolated as hell. And just lonely and suicidal. And like they drove her into a deep mental state. I met her when she was, I met her when she was 34. And 34? Yes, she was 30. No. She was 32. And she was married and had 6 kids. So she did take a little something from Mormon. But she had 6 kids. She was pregnant with her 5th or 6th kid when I met her. And wonderful husband, wonderful children, living in Houston, and where I was. And it affected her. She had trust issues with women. She had trust issues with people. She kept to herself, just her and her children and her husband. Obviously, I could talk to a wall. We actually met on the internet, and this is a long time ago, like right when the internet became a thing. There was like a neighborhood chat. This is before Facebook, There was like a neighborhood thing, like the whole town. And it was, I can't remember, Kingwood Underground. That's what it was called.
Wow. Sounds interesting.
I had to go way back. And it was kind of like the pages that you see on Facebook now, like the Waxahachie local page, where everyone's like, hey, there's a wreck. Hey, did you see that this went out of business? Whatever. And it was kind of like that, but predated Facebook. And so that's what it was. And it was kind of a chat thing. And so people would chat and laugh, whatever the case was. Well, she was really funny. And so every time she posted something, it was really, really funny. And so I might comment or like it, whatever, and chit chat with her here and there. And then she was having her 5th baby. She had no family, nobody. And I was like, hey, you're in the South now. I'm going to bring you a casserole. I mean, I don't know you, but I'm bringing you a casserole. Like
Because that's what we do.
that's what we do. And she said, can you bring me a King Ranch casserole? Because I've never had one and I've heard so much about it and I want to try it. And I said, yes, I can.
Say less.
I will make you a King Ranch casserole. So that's how we met. So we get to know each other and we became very, very good friends. And honestly, she got me through my divorce and she was the one that pulled me to the side and said, why are you married to him? Why? I keep trying to figure out what's going on and why you're with him. And I can't figure it out. Like, this guy is not for you. There's no chemistry. He's not you. Like, y'all have nothing. I don't understand y'all two. And so that's the first person I broke down. I was like, oh girl, I'm trying to leave him. I'm just trying to figure this shit out. Like, and so she really helped me through my divorce. But I learned so much from her about Mormon religion, and she wasn't even Mormon, but how they made her feel.
Yeah.
And what they did to her mentally. And she said, and it wasn't just the adults. She said every teacher in that school, every student was there, and they isolated her to the point of suicide. And she said, and then I got out and I moved and I experienced life. And I realized that there's a lot more out in the world I didn't even know about. So she always said, then I started feeling sorry for them because I realized they don't even know what's out there and they're missing, because I didn't know and I wasn't even in the religion. I was just in the town.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. At least the Amish get Rumspringa.
Right. I know. Yeah. And then some of them don't come back.
Yeah.
Some of them do.
But it's educational to do that.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
That's something that we talked about. I think the first time we met was just knowing that there's something different.
There's something else out there.
That's part of what I love about spiritual life in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not knocking it because I'm not part of the religion. I can't say, I just know what I know. I definitely don't know everything. I just know what I've experienced from people that I know that are in it and happily in it. And then what I've learned from people that are not been in it,
Well, I'm a lucky one because the folks I'm connected to that are still in are
kind.
They're kind and humane and very patient.
Yeah.
And as I've come back around and I'm trying to kind of reconnect relationships that I have damaged.
Yeah.
It's working out, and I get to be who I am and they get to be who they are, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That says a lot about them.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it's not usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more the exception than the rule as far as I've seen.
Yeah. Because even like in Scientology, like the whole thing with Tom Cruise and his wives, he doesn't have a relationship with the kids because he's not allowed to. They're not part of the religion. And Nicole Kidman doesn't have a relationship with her kids with Tom because they're not allowed to, because she's not in the religion. They're considered suppressed. That's what they call them when they're out of the religion. And so I just can't have a hard time seeing any religion that encourages a break in a relationship between a parent and a child. Any religion.
I agree with you. And isolating, especially social isolation, where you're just looking around and everywhere else is fine, is just so damaging.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. So interesting. I knew you would have something interesting to say. What else you got for us? Anything you want to talk about that we did not touch on?
Well, let's see.
Oh, you can talk about your guitars.
Oh, yeah. I make and play cigar box guitars. I did not bring one. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
You can check it out on, I'll give you an Etsy link.
Yeah.
As well.
I actually, I looked them up after I saw yours, and I looked them up, and then I found someone on TikTok that makes them and plays them and like goes and plays them and does like little shows like at bars and stuff like that. And I was like, that is badass. Someone famous was playing one the other day. Who was it? I saw someone famous the other day that had one made and was playing it. When it comes to me, I will let you know.
I made one for someone famous, but I'm going to
Keep it to yourself.
keep that to myself.
How you can tell us after.
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I'll tell you about it after we stop.
All right. Yeah, those are neat. So they're guitars made out of cigar boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those that didn't know.
And I was thinking, I was thinking, I should make a new game with all these Texans I've been talking to. Bless your heart, bingo.
Yeah, that's perfect for me. That's my theme in life. Bless your heart.
Yeah, but that's about it.
That's about it.
I love glamping at the KOA.
Glamping.
Me too.
And you are married. And how long have you been married?
Since 2005.
And you have how many children?
We have 2 boys, ages 12 and 15.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you're having lots of fun.
Yes, ma'am. I'm getting
Oh
paid back for
my
everything I ever
gosh.
did.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
15 and 12 are hard ages. 12's not so bad. It's on the cusp of it. But
It's getting there.
15,
Ugh.
their heads start spinning in circles sometimes. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, he might be trying that.
And
Yeah.
they never stop eating.
That is true as well. Yeah.
Yep.
My 16-year-old boy, the other day, I made meatloaf, and he's not a big fan of meatloaf, and which he likes it sometimes. He just wasn't feeling it, and so we goes in the kitchen. I made mashed potatoes and corn and meatloaf, and so we're all making our plates, and we eat, and he didn't get the meatloaf. I was like, really, dude? Like, you liked it last time? And he was like, I don't know, I'm just not in the mood. I said, okay, well, then it's time for seconds. And he gets up, and there's this big thing of potatoes, and there's enough for everybody to have seconds of potatoes. There's plenty. Usually there's enough for leftovers of potatoes, because my family loves some potatoes. And that boy got up and put all the second round of potatoes on his plate. And I mean, he had a whole plate of potatoes. He took every damn bite. And, Rick's a big boy. He wants some potatoes, too.
Why would he take the rest of the potatoes?
He does not think. I don't know. So he gets up and he makes his plate. We're not even looking at him. We're not even thinking to look at this,
Yeah.
And then Rick gets up to make himself another round of food. And he was like, there was a lot of potatoes here. And he looks over, and Zoe's over there holding it. He didn't even go to the back to the table. He's standing in the kitchen eating off his plate. And Rick's like, you just took all the potatoes. Oh, I'm sorry. You can have some. I don't want them. You just took a bite. So I'm making potatoes tonight, and I'm going to have to make like a whole damn bag for this boy.
This is your potatoes over here, and these are the rest of the family's potatoes.
But yeah, that age, man, they will eat you out of house and home. And it's summertime especially. But you're a teacher. She's not a teacher. She's a stay-at-home one.
She's teaching our kids at home.
But you know what I mean? She doesn't go out. So y'all do have summer breaks, right?
Yeah, we're on break now.
Okay, so
that's good.
That's what I'm saying is you can guard the fridge. That's where I was going with that.
You have to get past me. I throw elbows.
When Zaylee was little, she took some medicine for her autism that made her really hungry, and she would not stop grazing. And so I would give her things to graze on because you have to, And so I'd give her things to graze on, but you can't just go in there because I would be like going to make something for dinner and it would be gone. Like I needed the cheese or I needed something for the dinner. This happens to you.
Yes, ma'am.
It's you that does it.
Well, yeah. So there's two modes to medicate me. There's the medicate me to be safe to teach in a school.
Yeah.
And then there's the little bit less medication, but maximize my performance in doing creative things. So I was on that plan after school got out, and it went a little too far. And now I'm on new meds, and they make me hungry, and I'm doing that same thing.
Yeah.
I've gained like 10 pounds.
Well, you know what you have to do is you have to plan for it and have healthy snacks that are easier to access than the non-healthy snacks.
Carrots.
Yeah.
That's my go-to right now.
Well, I got to the point when Zaylee was little, and I'm talking, she was pretty little. She was like 5, but she would I come home from work and there was no food for me to cook for dinner. Like she was eating me out of house and home. And I was a single parent, very broke at the time, no child support. Like, girl, you eat all that. We don't eat. Like, we don't eat. And she'd eat a whole thing of cereal in one day. And I was like, well, that was for the week for 4 of you. And now it's gone. And now y'all get no cereal, So I was trying everything, and now they make locks for fridges, but I would take a belt and put it around it just to slow her down. Like, I'm not saying you can't eat, but I'm going to make you work for it, and you're kind of lazy, so you're only going to work so hard. Well, the belt that worked the best was her old belt, and it was rhinestone glitter. It was blinged out. It was the blingiest belt. So we had this black fridge in the middle of our apartment with a rhinestone belt tied around. I looked like I was abusive. But the girl... what
are you gonna do? You have to have food for everybody else. So
right. I mean, I told y'all the story about the cookies.
Yeah, the cookie debacle. I've thought about that so many times and laughed.
I came into the house yesterday, and Rick, he always has those cookies. And I came in, and there was an empty package on the counter, and he was just standing there. So I thought he was gonna be like. I thought Zoe ate all the cookies again.
That's the cookie caper too.
Yes, that's what I thought. And I was like, don't tell me he did it again. He was like, oh no, I ate all this. Like, now I have PTSD from the damn cookie caper. I'm like, oh my God. I'm sure he learned his lesson, but it was an ordeal at the house. I'm just like, we're getting there. We're getting there, y'all. This blended family thing, it takes a little bit of work. Madison, though, will show up for every dinner. And one day she was at the house, and Zoe was in summer school because he decided to screw around and not get what he needed done during the school year. Mm-hmm. So this is the first kid I've ever had that had to go to summer school. And
credit recovery, we call it.
Yes, credit recovery. Yes. And so, yes, he was in credit recovery.
I made mad for it in my last school.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Well, he did that. And so he was not, it was the last week of it, and he was getting by the skin of his teeth because he was, again, not putting effort in. And so my style of parenting, I call fuck around and find out. It's not for everybody, but it is how I parent. And
now you find out.
I'm a gentle fuck around and find outer. I'm going to make a joke. I'm not going to just go at you. But I am going to let it be known I'm unhappy. And I do cuss, obviously, in front of my children. I didn't when they were little, but now they're grown, you know. So
once they start cussing, I think that it's okay for you to do it.
They are not allowed to, but yeah.
I know.
But I've caught them. So Zoe walks in the kitchen, and I'm making dinner, and Madison, my boyfriend's daughter, is there. She's 19, and she was raised by him and his mom, and his mom's pretty religious, and her dad, you know, my boyfriend, he does cuss and that kind of stuff, but he has his own style of parenting. And so I walk in, and they're pretty religious, to be honest with you. You know, they pray before they eat and stuff. I have to pray now before I eat. It's weird. And he says, I'm like, Zoe, you're down to 2 days. You got to do this. You got to do that. Da, 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 da. And I know. I'll do it. I was like, don't act like I'll do it. Like I'm stupid for getting on to you. Cause clearly you have fucked around and you've not even found out because you're still doing it. And so he was like, I know, he doesn't get upset. That's just how I talk. He leaves the room. Madison starts giggling and I'm like, what? And she was like, I don't know anyone else like you, Zeta. I don't. She goes, it wasn't even mean. It was like you were, like he didn't even get upset. He's like, yeah, you're right. Like I don't know how you delivered that so well without him being offended. You didn't raise your voice. You just used it in a sentence like it's any other sentence. I was like, well, that's the bitch I am. I don't know.
Professional,
right?
Welcome to your future stepmom. I don't know.
Hope you're taking notes.
Lately, she's been getting Rick, man. She is, she went to college for her first year of college, and some of her eyes have been open to a few things.
That's good.
She was also raised in church very deeply, and she goes to a pretty conservative college. In fact, it was rated most conservative college in the state of Texas at one point.
That'd be pretty damn conservative.
It's pretty conservative. And so she has a professor there that is a conservative person, she said, but he's a free thinker. And he wants you to see things from all angles. So he's been teaching them the viewpoint from everybody's side. So anytime he teaches anything, it's like, this is what this person is thinking and saying, and this is why, this is what they're drawing from, and this is like he's teaching them free thinking. He's not teaching them what to think, but how to free think and how to dig deeper. And which is definitely how I've raised my kids, and but definitely not how she's been raised. And so she said to me the other day, I'm not going to say what it was because it'll make it political, but she said, did you know that this is what this is? I said, yeah, you did. How'd you know that? I was like, it's pretty common knowledge. Okay. I didn't know that until my professor explained it to me because they, certain people have made it sound like it was this really bad thing. And I agreed it was really bad. It's presented really bad. And then they explained to me the different sides. And I was like, why am I on this side when this makes more sense? She goes, so then I started researching because I wanted to know which side I'm supposed to be on and what's right and what's wrong. And I am realizing I have been mistaught and that we need to open our minds more and listen more and speak less. And
Amen.
I know. And I was like, get it, girl, man. She's 19. Girl's smart as shit, man. This kid is so smart. And I was like, I'm really glad you're doing that. I'm really glad, So we had a full discussion on it, whatever. Well, then Rick comes in, and the last 2 weeks, he'll say something. She's like, Dad, you're gaslighting me. Don't gaslight me. And so him and I were yesterday talking. We're bantering. We're not fighting. We're just bantering with each other. She was like, Dad, you're reflecting. That's reflecting. Will you let her say what she wants to say and listen? Because you're reflecting. Just because that happened doesn't mean what she's saying is not valid. I was like,
that's nice.
I said, that's right, Rick. You need to listen to Madison a little bit more.
I don't think she's alone. I work with this generation of kids that has graduated, just barely graduated high school and entering the world. And it's a pretty harrowing situation they're facing, but they are Very, very smart.
But she wasn't raised to be a free thinker. She wasn't raised to be allowed to hang out with free thinkers. And that wasn't her dad's doing. That was more her grandma's doing. But it was, and I would always tell her when she would say things, I hope someday you research that more. I hope someday you research. That's all I'd say. I'm not going to tell you what's right or wrong, but I hope someday you research that more. Now she's getting it. And so now I have become her favorite person.
That's cool.
She's like, what do you think about this? What do you think about it? Because I don't agree with anybody. I like to like pick every side apart, and I like to support what's good about them. Like, and it's not everybody's favorite. No one likes you when you don't like anyone.
When you don't pick a side.
When I don't pick a side. Yeah. So it doesn't, not everybody cares for me. I have a stepsister that has been my stepsister almost my entire life that stopped speaking to me because I was not far enough one side for her. And I'm not even the other side. Like, I don't like any of them.
I don't like any of you guys.
You know? And I was like, my dad the other day said something about he wouldn't support a business. My dad is far left, first off, and he wouldn't support a business that I love because they support somebody that he doesn't love. And I was like, Dad, I don't believe in cancel culture. I'm not canceling anything. And he was like, but. I was like, I thought y'all were the ones against cancel culture. I'm so confused. What is going on? I don't even know where to be. I was like, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm buying my groceries there no matter what. I said, in fact, that's where this came from right here that you're eating.
Yeah, so enjoy it.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah, you're right about this generation. Now, unfortunately, my 17-year-old, almost 18, she's not a free thinker. You tell her what to think, she thinks it. It drives me nuts. I'm like, girl, push back a little bit on it.
Just a little.
It's a skill you can learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Whereas her brother comes in there. Did you know in 1942 that at World War, you know, I'm like, that's not actually what happened though, Mom. What actually happened was there was this small little religious sect over here that did this and it created this and it ballooned into this. I'm like, okay, there's my free thinker right there.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyways, we went off topic, but not.
I do have a question I like to ask everyone that I interview. This is, congratulations, it's the Mr. Proctor Show now.
Yeah, I'm so
Greetings,
glad.
people of Earth. Welcome to the Mr. Proctor Show. My name is Mr. Proctor.
Dun, dun, dun.
I have invaded your studio.
Yes, please do.
Earth is my favorite planet. I'm actually from there. Question I like to ask is, I want you to think about yourself when you were in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade.
Gosh.
All right, you think about that person that you were at that time. And then I want you to send a message back in time. What would you say?
Listen to your mom. She's crazy, but right.
Oh my gosh.
Amen.
Probably.
That's a
I
good
would
one.
tell myself to stop trying to grow up so fast
That's a good one, too.
because I wanted to be grown. I wanted to be independent. And I thought that I knew enough then to be. I was like, I got a grasp on this. I can, no, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I didn't need to want to fast forward through that time. I needed to spend more time figuring things out and not thinking that I had it all together.
I would also tell myself to relax a little
Yeah.
because when I was in high school, I was uptight about things. My mom was real wild and I wanted to be anything but that. And I made me a wild 30-year-old.
It's more fun when you're older, though.
It was.
A little bit.
I did have a hell of a good 30s.
I had my 30s was more wild.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I did consciously at 30 years old decide I did not like the person I had created to prove I wasn't somebody else.
Mhm.
I wasn't being me even. I was just being what I thought I needed to be different than my mom. Turns out I'm a lot like her.
Who would have thought?
I had to decide I wanted the good parts and I could leave the bad parts. And so I try to do that. And I did get some of her bad parts on occasion, but I did get the good parts too. So worth it. What would you tell yourself?
I would say that the most important story that you'll ever tell is the one you tell yourself about yourself.
Yeah.
And I hope that that's a kind story. And I hope it's a triumphant story.
Yeah.
I felt that.
That is true. Yeah. It is true, man. When you're that age, you think you know everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had it all figured out. It was
I
amazing.
did too. And
Yeah.
I thought everybody else was against me. And definitely with the mom thing, I did not think that she knew anything about me or what I needed. And I thought she was totally against me. And when she knew exactly, she could tell what I was going through and she wanted to help. But that, of course, that was the last thing I wanted to let her
Right.
do. And I was like, why wouldn't you just accept that help? Why did you have to go through so much? And that's when after that after I got a little bit older, I started living through other people's, stories. Like I learned from other people's mistakes. I didn't have to make them myself.
Yourself,
When I was younger, I felt like I had to make them myself. I had to do my own stuff. And I realized that it's a lot easier to learn from other people's mistakes and not make them themselves, because you get a lot further in life that way faster, and it's not holding you back. So
Yeah, that's
I
a
like
good
that.
question. I like it.
Thank you.
That was good. What, you got another one? No? Okay. Making sure. I mean, that was a good one. So I was gonna let you roll with the Ron Proctor show. Come on.
Oh, well, this has been the first time I have ever casted pod. So,
Oh, okay.
we
So-
popped your cherry.
I know.
Mr. Proctor Show, episode 1.
Yeah. It's a spinoff. We're a spinoff, so it could be
Yeah.
a spinoff because
Just keeps going.
Yeah, because we're Al's spinoff. So
Oh, excellent.
yeah, so
He'll
worked out totally different than the one with Al. I did tell Al that I wrote a song with my friends, and he goes, "Great, they should come on and sing it." And I was like, "No, they can't."
so is he
He's like, "Yeah, they can." I said, "No, they can't."
Not
He was
on
like,
your
yeah,
show.
they can. I said, "They can do it on my podcast, but not on your podcast."
Not on your podcast.
Because that one is produced by the Kid Craddock Show, and they may not appreciate.
yes,
song.
Yes, I know that Mr. Big Al. Is it Mr. Al or is Big his first name?
Mr. Big.
Yes,
Mr. Big.
Whatever,
Big Al.
whatever you want to call him.
So is he my grandpa now?
Basically,
my grandpa?
Yeah, basically.
Grandpa?
Yeah. You're my grandpa. I'm going to tell him that. That's great.
Oh my God.
Write that down.
I want to read our email before
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah,
finish,
yeah.
though, because
Okay.
I want to give her a shout out real quick. So let me get this up. Which I was also very excited when I opened up our email, and I had another email, and her name is Shelly, and the on the email it said, "You've got mail," and I definitely LOL'd at that
yeah,
because
that's so
I
funny.
loved it. So she says, First off, love y'all so much. I have so many thoughts, but I'll narrow it down some. Nobody's got time to read a 10-page email. Zeta, I have been where you are with female problems and raising teenagers. I started going through menopause at 46, and no doctor would listen to me when I told them what I was going through. They all said I was too young, and it must be something else. I suffered indescribable pain for years and years. I'm 56 now, on the other side of all that BS and pain-free. So, girl, it gets better. Teenagers. When my youngest son was in his senior year, I swear it was by the grace of God we both lived through it. We laugh about it now 10 years later. But damn, that boy exhausted me. You are doing a great job, and you will get through the hard days. Kelly, your free and kind spirit is such an inspiration. I love listening to your growth and inspiring stories about your journey and relationships. I could listen to a podcast of y'all's for hours. Much love, Shelly.
Well, thank
So
you,
thank you
Shelley.
so much, Shelly, for the email.
I thought it was really cute because she sent me. She was like, "All right, I'm trying to send y'all an email, and I'm getting it wrong." So, Kelly, what is our email address?
Our email is 2sidesandthetruthpodcast@outlook.com. So I know I've said before, like our first couple of podcasts, I left out the podcast.
Yes.
So in the email, if you're going to send an email, make sure it's 2sidesandthetruthpodcast, all of that,
Yes.
at outlook.com.
And on Instagram, you are.
On Instagram, I am Kelly Lady Pearl, if you'd like to add me.
And I'm Z Mamacita, and I'm Zeta Owens on Facebook. And I have to wear glasses, right?
Yeah, you can't handle.
I am Mr._Proctor_official.
There you go.
Ooh,
and you can
official.
You can look on people's friends list, so they could find you via me on Instagram.
Yeah,
if
that's
you
what I'm going
went
to have to
mine.
do. So I can,
And you as well. You can find
I'll come
everybody.
find you. I do.
Yeah. She's not going to participate though because the girl doesn't really use it. She throws up a picture once a month and's like, "Are y'all happy?"
If I get once a month.
Yeah, she's like, "Y'all
It's
happy
hard
now?"
for me to get pictures though because I have a flip phone, and so it's not connected to my. There's no way that I can put pictures. I mean, I'm sure there's a way, but that's technical, and I'm not going to be able to do it. So
Yeah, she's like, "Zeta, that
any
picture,
pictures that I
email
take,
it to me."
I can't put it on my computer, so I have to have somebody email me pictures so that I can put them on my
Yeah.
Instagram account.
So which one of these mustaches?
Yeah,
do you think
what
is the most
mustache am I?
hipster mustache for her. She needs a.
I mean-
she needs a
I'm gonna go
hipster
with-
mustache.
I'm gonna go with this one.
Let me see.
The bottom one was my guess.
Okay,
You can stick it to your phone.
that's the one. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I need to do. Put it on my computer.
your
That's your
computer.
hipster phone.
Okay, which one are
your
you?
hipster
You
computer.
need that one. You need this one. That one.
Okay.
The one right above the one I
Where am I
did.
gonna put it?
And the other one's for Al.
We're gonna have to
I'm gonna
take
leave it
pictures
here
of
for
it.
Al. You may leave it here for Al and give it to him.
Yep, that'd be
I want
fine.
to give it to him when you see him.
I could do that.
All right, you give it to him
Oh,
when you see
yeah.
him.
When I shake his hand and introduce myself as his
Yes.
his grand
As grandpa.
as a grandpa children.
Yeah, what would it be called if you're a grand potter? We're gonna have to work on this. We're gonna have to work on this.
We'll have to make up a whole new.
I'm gonna
language.
put this on my laptop too. I
Okay.
don't have it with me, but I want it on my laptop because I could put it right next to "Yo, Mom is a hoe" and I love
Yeah.
dad bods. I'm gonna do that. It's going on the phone because that
Perfect.
goes together. So we're gonna do that.
We're gonna take a picture with them first, though, so I can have a picture to put on my
That'd be
Instagram.
fun.
That you can email to. I can email to you from my
Yes,
phone. She's
yes.
like, she wants a picture on her phone. She's like, "Hey, email me this picture that's on your phone," because she just takes my phone and takes pictures. Email me that picture so I can put it on the computer so I can put it on my Instagram.
There's lots of steps.
It's like 1999 up in here. I mean, but you gotta do what you gotta do, and yeah. So. Anyway, so I guess that's it for today. So
Oh my gosh,
we're gonna have
that was
another
so much
mini
fun.
girls weekend this weekend. So we will have more stories to tell. Hopefully, my kids survive another week because one of them is trying to get me to kill them. I won't.
I'm so
I'll just
proud,
take them
so
to their
proud.
dads. I did have a night the other night, and I was ready for bed, and I was like, "Get in the car. You're going to your dad's. I've had enough. You're just going to your dad's."
Bum, bum, bum.
And they were like, "I live here too. This is my house." I was like, "I know, but so is your dad's. So that's where you're going." And that's what we did. Mama, fuck around and find out. That's the moral of that.
Well,
Anyways, that is it. Y'all join us again.
Thank you
on
so
the next
much for being
episode.
here.
Thank you for having me on. This
Yeah.
has been awesome.
Thanks for
I had so much
coming
fun.
with us. And we'll post a picture of our mustaches.
Yeah. And remember, there's always 3 sides to every story. 2 sides and the truth.
Bye, y'all.
It's the truth this time.
It was partially. 2 bitches and a half. Whatever.